welcome to another episode of Carrie's Corner. I'm your host, Carrie, and thanks for joining me in my corner. Hey guys, welcome back to my corner. So I want to start off by saying, we know we're a little raspy. I literally just got my voice back, and it's not even fully back to 100. So I'm gonna do my best to not clear my throat while I'm recording, or to try not to cough. But if I do, please forgive me. Um, and yeah, I have had to put this off because when I tell you I had no voice, I mean I literally had no voice. So yeah, see, already can't even help it. But I also want to say and give a shout out to my lash lady. Okay, so I'm a drink girly. I used to be a bartender, used to serve. I mean, I still kind of do here and there. I like to do little part-time stuff. Um, and anybody who's bartended knows how annoying and tedious it is to have to slice up fruit and do all that before the shift starts to get ready. Especially if you're opening a bar. And she just does this out of a hobby. She dehydrates fruit, and I'm all about the aesthetic. And she gave me some pre-sliced dried up fruit, some ASMR for you guys. I don't know if you can hear that. But I put in some blood oranges, some, I think, oh my God, what's it called? Starts with an N. Watch, I'm gonna remember. I'm gonna have to edit it in because I forgot again. And some limes. But either way, she gave me a whole bunch of fruit, lemons, you name it, a bunch of citrus. She had pineapple as well and kiwi, but your girl's allergic, so we obviously said no. But anyways, it's so cute. And I've already made 4 sangrias. That probably is what contributed to me losing my voice. Just kidding. No, it didn't. But um yeah, made a bunch of sangrias with it, and just use it in my drinks, and it adds such a really just delicious citrusy flavor to it, scrumdiddlyumptious. So shout out to Elmira. I'm still waiting for her to tell me what her business name is because I told her as Miss Ma'am, market this, plug this. But either way, shout out to her because love, love, love. And maybe if I remember, I'll include pictures because I took a lot more cuter pictures of the glass, and of my drink before I made it. And some other times I made this before. But yeah, anyways, those are my 2 little tidbits. Those are my FYIs. Thank you for attending my TED Talk. Now let's get into the pod. Alrighty, guys. So we are going to get into the body yaddy. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this is my favorite segment of all the segments. I don't know why. I feel like I just am so passionate about it. And so yeah, it's just my favorite thing to talk about. But in this episode, we're gonna get a little Delulu, and Delulu in the healthy way and in the right ways, okay? Because it is okay to be Delulu sometimes. And I need you guys to start getting more Delulu about your life. So the first thing that kind of came to mind, and I feel like I've actually had this topic or this conversation quite a bit just recently within my day-to-day outings to the gym and work and home. Um, but I had a conversation with this really amazing lady that I met, possibly new gym buddy, and we were just talking about our goals and things that have been motivating us, how to keep motivation, dedication, all that fun stuff. And we just kind of were talking about how we almost felt shamed or shameful for admitting that our true intentions and body goals. And I'll just use myself for an example. For a really long time, I used to be very I guess conservative about my goals or my fitness goals, and about my health goals, or very modest. And I wasn't really truly being honest with others and also honest with myself. Um, and I pride myself on being a very it is what it is person. What you see is what you get. I have a horrible poker face, as everybody knows. And I just but like in this, I wasn't necessarily lying, but I just wasn't being one hundo p with it. And when I say that, I mean, for example, like I've always had an hourglass shape, more or less. The big G blessed me. I had boobs, I got butt, small waist, thick thighs. So I've been fortunate in that genetic department. But as mentioned before, I also had a little bit of tonnage that was added to that. Um, and with that, obviously, I didn't love how my body looked. That's not to say I didn't love myself and I didn't appreciate the body that I had because, again, as I've mentioned in past episodes, I think it's important to love yourself in every season, and in every step of the way. You need to appreciate all aspects of where you're at. But because I loved myself, that's why I wanted more. And I had like I mean, I would call it delusional. Looking back, I would have called it myself delusional. Like, if Carrie today was talking to Carrie, let's say 4 years ago, and was like, and Carrie 4 years ago was like, this is what I want my body to look like, or these are my goals, or these are my whatever. Carrie, I mean, Carrie today probably wouldn't have said she's delusional because I got my goals, but Carrie back then also would have looked at herself and been like, who do you think you are? Like, let's be realistic. You'll never look like that. You'll never get that. You'll never have those goals, or you'll never reach those goals. Like, that's not realistic for you. And had I had listened to that little negative voice in the back of my head, I would never be where I am today. And so you kind of have to be a bit delulu about your life, and be delulu about your goals. Like, set the bar high. If you look at all of these, and again, because we're talking about the body audio, Um, if you look at all of these major influencers or just like fitness gurus or like health experts, if their goals were set at a mediocre level, they wouldn't be who they are today. We wouldn't have the David Goggins. We wouldn't have anyone carrying the boat. And like, so you need to be delusional about yourself and about your goals and about what you can accomplish because your mind is your biggest hurdle. You are your own obstacle, and you are the only thing stopping yourself from reaching those goals. And so, to get a little bit more specific, yeah, so I always told myself like I would love to see ab lines. I never wanted, and I still don't think I do want like an 8 pack or like ripped like washboard hard ab 6 pack, but I've always wanted like like the cute little like Pilates girlies like with their ab line or their core lines, and I've always wanted my thighs to be smaller. Just because like since I have always had thick thighs. And like I literally remember grade 3, I won't say her name, but she was a mean girl and she literally went around and called me thunder thighs. And that was like the first time as a child I had a realization that like, oh, my body's different than your body, or like there are body differences. And then she went and told all the boys, and all the boys started calling me thunder thighs. And I was like, what do you mean I have thunder? Like I was just so lost. Like again, I lived under a bubble, so I was like, what the hell are thunder thighs? What do you mean I have thunder thighs? Why don't you have thunder thighs? And yeah, that's when it really started to clue into me. That's when I think some of my body image issues started to click in. Thanks, homegirl. Not. But yeah. So, like for example, those are some of the things that I wanted. I always had big boobs, so like I don't think I shouldn't say always. There was a point in my time when I was in high school where I had like no boobs. I'll see if I can find a photo. I won't say no boobs, but like they weren't, they weren't sitting where they were sitting. Careful what you wish for, because then I feel like when I gained, like when I was at my peak of the most weight I had on, they were almost too big. And then I was like, I just want these things gone. And then again, careful what you wish for, because now that they're gone, I'm like, come back. Mommy misses you. But yeah, so that sucks, but that's fine. We still love ourselves through every season, right? But yeah, anyways, but yeah, so I had all these like goals that I wanted for myself as well too. Like I wanted to be able to do a pull up. People still don't believe me when I say I can't do a pull up. I can't. Um, but we're getting there, okay? And I had a little bit of delay in my journey because I re injured my shoulder, but we're in physio. We're working on it. We're healing. Um, and we're doing our exercises, our scapular rotations. And I'm getting regular massages now to work out my knots. Like 2025, we are taking care of ourselves. Like, I'm not playing around when I say that, like, this is the year of me. And, like, you guys should be making it the year of you as well. But yeah, so I had like all these illusions of things that I wanted to do. Being able to do a push up from your feet. Again, people don't believe me when I say I can't do that. And then they see me try, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, okay, let's just stop right there." So I have all these goals that I wanted for myself that I was like, I'm gonna be able to do this, I'm gonna be able to do that, and then again, like to some people, they would have been like, yeah, you're delusional. Some, I don't think like a push up is delusional. I don't think being able to do a pull up is delusional. Um, but just me being myself, I told myself that I'm delusional because I'm like, bitch, it's damn well been near 30 years and you still can't do a push up or a pull up. What makes you think you're going to be able to do one now? But you know what? Screw that delusion or screw that thought, and we're going to do it. And I'm going to record it, and I can't wait for the day when I can do it. Just not right now because my shoulder still hurts. We're still rehabbing it. Um, but yeah, like I had to get Delulu about that. And like I wanted to be smaller. I still don't and don't think I ever want to be like I don't want to be a size 0. I don't want to be a size 2. I'm not trying to be like super super stick thin. But like again, when I was larger, I definitely wanted to be smaller because I know how clothes fit me when I was in a smaller size. I know what my body looks like, what my face looks like when I'm in a smaller size, and I liked that. Again, that's not to say that I'm trying to be like stick thin. That's not my goal. I still love my curves. I love having nyash. I still love having a small waist. I love all those things that make me me. But I just kind of wanted it in a more toned up version. And yeah, I really just had to get Delulu about my life. And I have my vision board. I have it sitting like, I mean, obviously you guys can't see it, but it's like right in front of me from where I record my podcast. It's also in my lash studio because it goes like Carrie's Corner, lash studio on the other side. So like this half of the basement in our home is, I kind of claimed it as my own. But on there, I have a bunch of photos that I got from Pinterest and like women that I follow on Instagram. And like when I say their body is tea, their body is tea. Their body is yachting. And I told myself, I was like, that's what I want to look like. And again, I kept it kind of realistic in the sense of like, I know that like I'm not gonna go and try and say like I don't know, I'm not gonna go pick a photo of a girl who has a different body shape than me, for example, that has very broad shoulders, very narrow hips, and then be like, yep, that's what I want to look like. Because realistically, like again, I won't look like that. I naturally have wider hips and just the ratios that I have, it would just be it's not impossible, but I would never look like that. Everyone is different. So the women that I picked, they still had that hourglass shape, they still had that figure, but it was more idealistic of what I wanted to look like. And then further to that, I was like, yeah, like these are my body goals. And I have my Pinterest board online that literally is titled like body goals. And then I printed some of those out and I put them on my vision board. And you know what? Yesterday I took a picture at the gym. I'll try remember to like insert it, but I like took a picture and I was like, hold up, not me kind of looking like my inspiration, not me kind of looking like my Pinterest photos, like on my Pinterest board and my vision board. And it's because I had that delusion. I told myself, I was like, well, that's what I want and I'm gonna get it. And I'll be damned if anyone tries to stop me. And you damn well best believe I did. Because again, I'm not gonna sit here and like who says I can't? Who says I can't? Who says I can't try? Like my mom always says, nothing beats a trial but a failure. And if you don't try, you can't win. If you don't try, you can't lose, but if you don't try, you can't win. And that's what you need to fixate and focus on. And so I really just got delusional about my goals. And lo and behold, 2, 3 years later, I'm here accomplishing my goals. I'm closer to a pull up than I was ever before. Like when I first started, I could only do a dead hang which is just hanging on a bar, pretend like you're hanging on a cliff, like literally just hanging. Um, I think for maybe like 15 seconds was my max. And I'm like by second 15, like I'm like, whew, like I'm struggling. Now, I know for sure like I can hold it for at least a minute. Probably more. I haven't really timed it past a minute. And like I'm sitting there doing crunches while I'm doing it. And even while I'm doing my crunches after I'm done my 10, like I can still hang. It's usually just my core that hurts. But like, and like I do my little scapular raises, to get myself ready. I was about to go to the negatives, which is like when you start from the top position and you slowly bring yourself down. Again, just training the muscles needed for to do a pull up. Training my muscles that I need to do a pull up to do what they need to do. um, but then that's when I got my shoulder injury. And so we're putting a little pause on that, but that's okay because we're still, like I said, we're healing, we're growing, we're working on things, and we will get there. And am I a little delulu right now for thinking that, especially with how sore my shoulder's been? And this is like I had the shoulder injury like 3 years ago. It healed itself. I was like, woo, I'm good. I'm back to normal. And then I went and done messed up my shoulder again. So yeah, we're we're gonna get there. Okay, we're gonna get there. We're doing it the right way this time. We're not trying to self heal. Okay, we're got this. But yeah, point being, get Delulu about your dreams, get Delulu about your goals, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You want a fat ass? Go get a fat ass. Go get yourself some nyash. You know what I mean? Like, go to the gym. Like, I don't care. Like, people always laugh at me and they're just like, all you do is leg day. All you do is leg day. But then at the same breath, they're like, man, like, how is your butt so bubbly and your stomach's flat and blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe because I'm always doing leg day, which I'm not always doing leg day. I definitely do upper body as well. Rude. But at the same time, like, I know what I want. I know what my goals are. My goals are I wanted myself that ab line. So you best believe I started incorporating a lot more core workouts into my daily fitness routine. I want my nash to be nashing. I want a shelf to be shelving. So you best believe I'm doing the exercises to make sure that I'm sitting there walking around with a bubble butt looking bootylicious, bubble-licious bubble gum. Okay? Like, we're not playing around with our goals. I'm not playing around about myself. And it's my delusions that have gotten me where I am today. So all I gotta say for you is get delusional about your fitness goals. Get delusional about your body goals. And like you don't have to go share it to the world, but you know what? It's okay if you want to be if your goal is you want to be skinny, go get skinny. Like there's nothing wrong with that. If your body goal is that you want a fat ass, go get a fat ass. If your body goal is that you want jacked arms, go get jacked arms. Like stop letting your perception or your fear of what you think other people are going to think of you stop you from getting into your goals because that's all it is. And so, like, I like to live in my delusion, okay? And, like, some people call me funny or weird or silly or dumb for it, but you know what? Who's accomplishing their goals? This girl. And who's staying Delulu? This girl. And I ain't mad about it. Um, which also kind of leads me into the other thing I was going to talk about. So, like I said, be Delulu, get what you want. And I know that there's also things that sometimes you can't control. And hot topic here, I know that paying for, I guess, paying for your body um, is a hot topic amongst a lot of people. A lot of people feel like, no, you need to just be grateful for what you have, like work with what God gave you. And like, if you don't got it, you don't got it. And like, while I can agree with that to a certain extent, there is also like a certain extent where it's like, okay, but if this is a little thing that you can do that's going to make you love yourself a little bit more, why not? Why not? Okay? Like, if it's going to get you that much closer to fulfilling your Delulu dreams, do it. I just feel like, and now this might be a hot take, there's a limit. Okay? There is a limit. I feel like a lot of things in life are kind of on a spectrum, and some people definitely take it a little too far. Where their Delulu then becomes toxic. And that's where you don't want to be Delulu. That's where you need to halt the brakes, you need to stop and just reel her back in. I feel like For example, um, things that I think are totally okay with, and this is just my own personal opinion. You do not have to agree or disagree with me. Like, this is just Carrie's opinion in Carrie's corner. Like, and like for example, something that's super common, braces, Invisaligns. If you want straighter teeth because you just weren't blessed with straight teeth, nothing wrong with that. And there's also a lot of health benefits to straightening your teeth, realigning things, making sure things are good. Another thing, getting hair plugs. Men and women get hair plugs. This is not just something that men get. I know a lot of people think only men go and get their hairlines redone or whatever because of balding. That's not true. There's plenty of women that get it done too. Some women, they were just born with a larger forehead or their hairline's just more pushed back. There are a lot of, oopsies, there's a lot of health um, reasons and complications that can cause women to lose their hair loss. And although they might be able to grow back some of their hair, some of it never grows back. So, therefore, if they want to go and get hair plugs to refill that back in to bring back their confidence, why the hell not? Um, Boob jobs, some people find controversial. Listen, boobs are one of those things that unfortunately, like, sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it, okay? And people think like, oh, well, boobs are just fat. Sure, correct. They're fat, they're glands, they're, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, there are, like, again, everyone's body is different. Everyone's beautiful in their own way. Um, but at the same time, sometimes if you don't got it, you don't got it, okay? And so, like, I can use myself as an example. Even at my heaviest weight, yes, my boobs were big, but there were still girls who had boobs that were way bigger than me and that they were either larger than me or smaller than me. Vice versa, there were women that were way larger than me and their boobs are still small. Okay. So sometimes you just got what you got. And if you want more, it's okay to go and get a little help to get a little more. Like even myself right now that I've lost a bunch of weight, my boobs have deflated and it has brought on such a new like level of insecurity to me, but we're not even gonna go there, okay? Because we're getting Delulu. So I'm just hoping that one day my lovely boyfriend will just get on board with me so then I can go and get my boobs done. But maybe after kids. And I'm not trying to walk around with Pamela Anderson or Dolly Parton or friggin' bolt on melons that are like up to my chin. But again, you just, if you want to get something that makes you feel just a little bit better, do what you got to do. Another hot take, um, Ozempic, which is like the big thing in the world right now. I have many takes on this because there are people that need to be taking it because it originally was created as a medicine for diabetes in people who have insulin resistance. And with the epidemic of people wanting to jump on the bandwagon of Ozempic, it created a shortage where people who needed it were now no longer able to get it. I have a problem with that. Don't do that. Don't be taking from the people who need it. Okay. You getting a boob job is not taking from those who need boob jobs. You getting your hair implant is not taking from those who need hair implants. But when you're taking medication away from people who need it, um, for your own like vanity, I guess it is, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're all vain in our own ways. That's where I do have a little bit of a problem with it. Um, But in the same breath, if you really feel like you've tried everything, dieting doesn't work for you, and you just want a little bit of a boost, and like you go see a medical professional and you have like a goal and you have a healthy way of starting it, but also stopping it, and then continuing on with those fitness goals and your health goals, that way you don't revert back. Um, then I can see that as not as much of an issue because it's kind of like a helping stepping stone. It's no different than gastric bypass. When you go in, you either get like the gastric band and you get the band around your stomach, or you literally get your part of your stomach removed and shrunken to then limit how much you're eating, therefore be in a caloric deficit and help you lose weight. In both ways, I see Ozempic no different. It's just a lot less invasive. If you were using Ozempic or any of those, it was a GLP, GLP-2s for weight loss. But at the same time, and I say like a massive but on this, um, if you are going to go the route of using something as like a stepping stone or to kind of like assist you in any type of way, then you need to ensure that you are setting yourself up for success. And when I say that, I mean, please, 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 please make sure you have the right foundation set up before you even go down that path. You need to be eating healthy, okay? You can't out train a bad diet. So you need to be eating healthy. You need to be moving. Okay, I'm not saying you have to go get a fitness membership and be in the gym 7 days a week for 3, 4 hours. I'm just saying you need to have movement. I don't care if it's you go join a sports team and you go play and practice twice a week. I don't care if it's you commit to going for a walk or if you have a dog or an animal that you walk and you just say, okay, you know what? We're going to go like an extra 30 minutes. That way we're getting a little bit more steps in and a little bit more movement in. But like you need to be creating healthy habits. That way, when you do choose to use this tool, again, whether it's the GLP-2 or it's a gastric bypass or any type of additional outside help, that you're setting yourself up for success because these aren't permanent solutions, okay? It's not just like waving a magic wand and then boom, you're perfect forever. You need to upkeep that. Same thing as like liposuction or like if you go and get a BBL, like I've seen it so many times. And I think that's my issue with it. I don't care if you have tried to grow an ass and you can't get it and you're like, I just need a little bit of help. I got the extra money and you decide to go snip, snip, cut, cut and push it into your butt. Not my problem, not my business. I don't care. Um, but what I don't love is when I've seen girls do that and then they go claiming that they did it naturally or like they worked hard to gain that, yada yada yada. Um and they don't change anything about themselves. Okay? Like wearing a waist trainer after you got a BBL and going to the gym it's not proving that you're like a fitness guru, okay? That's false advertising. And you're creating the wrong type of delusion, not only within yourself, but within other people who are watching you. And like you don't need to be an influencer to be influencing people in your life, okay? If you have kids, nieces, nephews, friends' kids, you name it. There is a world of people who are looking up to you. There's a whole generation that is looking up to you. And again, you do not need to be an influencer to be influential. And they're watching everything you do. They're watching how you love yourself, how you speak about yourself, how you speak to others, how you treat others. And they're using that as the tools to then formulate their own view of the world and how they operate in the world. So, like, you need to be very intentional about yourself and what you are also broadcasting to the world. And sorry, before I got on that little tangent, what I was gonna say about that though is I've seen girls, they go get BBLs, they go get lipo, they go get a tummy tuck, whatever it is, and then they don't change anything about themselves. They still are eating bad, they still have their bad habits, they're not moving anymore, they're not burning any extra calories, putting on muscle, nothing like that. And then the body's a funny thing, okay? So and I will fact check myself on this. Oh my gosh. The sickness was getting to the brain. Anyways, but you can't like so we're all born with fat cells, okay? And when you lose weight, you don't lose those fat cells. They just shrink. When you gain weight, you're not growing more fat cells, they just grow and expand. And so when you go and get not even liposuction, like a tummy tuck, or if you're getting like full on skin removal, or like, I think liposuction does it as well. Again, I'm gonna actually like go into this a little more and confirm. And if I'm wrong, I will create another video or like another little clip providing you with correct information. But I'm pretty certain I'm on the right path with this. But point being, um, we're all born with a certain amount of fat cells and they just grow or shrink. And then when you remove those fat cells, you're not going to grow more. So what happens is you get your surgery and you snip, tuck, cut, whatever, copy, paste yourself to the body that you want. And then you still have a bad habit. So you still go out and eat and you're still drinking and you're not moving, you're not exercising, like everything that you were doing before that got you to where you didn't like, still doing the same thing. Your body is still going like so those fat cells, some of them are removed, so therefore again you're not going to grow new ones, but you still have fat cells other places. And then what I see happens is those other fat cells start to grow. And so then you start getting fat in places that you normally weren't getting fat. Like, let's say, for example, before you were very like stomach heavy and you always gained all your weight in your stomach, and you go, oh, you got your tummy tuck, everything's gone. So now you find that like your stomach maybe isn't going to be getting as big and protruding as it was before, but now you're seeing in other places, and you're seeing that you're gaining weight in your ankles, in your knees, in like your face, in your neck, in your arms, places that you never used to gain fat. Or even worse, like I call it the tree trunk, where you'll see these girls and they just like they expand outwards, but it like is in such a weird unnatural way, because it's just like, again, like you've nipped and tucked and Frankenstein yourself, so now you're like doing this weird thing. Again, I'm not against it. Okay, who knows, there might be a point in my time or in my life where I'm like, yeah, you know what, I think I need some lipo, or I need a little bit of a tummy tuck or whatever. I'm not opposed to it. I get it. Loose skin is a thing. And again, sometimes like especially if you're a mother and you've had kids and you've had C-sections and all that fun, not fun stuff. Um, Muscles get weak, muscles get dead, and you just can't lose weight there. You know what I mean? It just sits. So like there is nothing wrong with wanting to like fix things that you can't control. But again, it's just, if you are going to do that, make sure you set yourself up for success. That way you don't just end up back in the exact same place that you were a few years, months, whatever ago. Because then that's where it's like, okay, so you spent all that money and wasted all that effort and all that pain, because I've seen the healing process of lipo and tummy tucks and all that stuff, and it does not look fun. Like, you cannot pay me enough to do it, which is why I'm kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna go take my ass to the gym because all that pain, all that blood, all that pus and all the other stuff that comes along with all that stuff, it ain't for me. I don't like it. I don't like being in pain. Okay. I don't like being sick. I don't like being immobile. I'm a doer. My ADHD kicks in heavy. And so I'm always needing to do things. Ask anyone. I don't know how to sit still. I'm a certified yapper. So the idea of me having to just sit still for months or weeks on end and not being able to do anything, not my not my idea of fun. Um, but yeah, so with that being said, to bring it back full circle, um, I think that like while it's important to be delusional about yourself, you know what I mean, and have your goals, and if you got to do a little bit of outside sourcing to accomplish those goals, nothing wrong with it, but just make sure you're doing it in a healthy way. Make sure you're getting your research done. Try not to cut corners, because all cutting corners does is you end up losing in the end. And I've seen and heard, and I'm sure all of you have as well, whether it's in the news and media or unfortunately even in personal situations, where people go, they get these works done, they get work done, and it ends fatally, or they just end up like botched, and it's like, yikes. Had you maybe just spent a little bit more money or done a little bit more research or been just a little bit more patient, you probably would have had a better outcome. So yeah, with that being said, be delusional about your body, be delusional about your goals. Again, you want that snatch waist, get that snatch waist. If you want that booty, get that booty. You want tickle bitties, get them. You want a full hairline, get it. Um, but at the same time, just make sure, please, 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 make sure you're setting yourself up for success. That way, if you do get those goals, that they stick with you and they stay with you, versus they just become like a temporary fix. And then in 3, 4 years down the road, you're going to be right back in square one, if not worse, because now you have that mental gymnastics to play with of like, oh, I once had that. Now I don't have it. What was me? Yeah, no, we ain't doing that over here. Okay. Like, we're getting Delulu, but we're also being realistic about ourselves. Um, so yeah, be delusional, stay Delulu, and chase those goals. Do what you want. You know what I mean? Like, don't let anyone stop you. And like, don't be shy to admit that, like, if you are not happy with your weight and you want to be smaller, say that you want to be smaller. Who cares? There's nothing wrong with wanting to be smaller. Or if you're really small and you want to gain weight, who cares? Say you want to gain weight. And if you want to gain all the weight and you're badonkadonk, say that. Like, be Delulu and stop letting like other people's, like, stop letting your own mind play tricks on you, because again, you're thinking other people are judging you. Reality, everyone else is so caught up in their own mind, half the time they're really not paying attention to you, and if they are, that's a whole other topic and a whole other story for a whole other day. But on that being said, stay to Lulu while you guys are getting into the body yaddy. Oh my god, my voice is so horrible. I'm sorry guys, but power through, we got this. All right, guys, we're now going to get into the ties and the tangles. I feel like that's just my new thing, like ties and tangles. But, anyways, yeah, ties and tangles, and why it's important to be delusional about your ties and tangles, okay? Not all of them, but one specifically I can think about is your intimate relationships, okay? Get delusional about love, okay? I think love is such a beautiful thing. Um, for example, Valentine's Day. Hot take. I know a lot of people don't like it. They think it's a Hallmark holiday. Sure, fine. Yeah, corporations definitely have marketed on the fact of celebrating love. But why is that a bad thing? Like, not the corporation side of it, but like, why is it a bad thing to celebrate love? Why is it a bad thing to be delusional? Why is it a bad thing to romanticize your love life? Like, I don't think I know anybody, and I don't care how you identify, who you like to go for, what you like to go for. Um, at the end of the day, whether you consider yourself asexual or hypersexual or whatever in between, we all love love. We all want to be loved. Humans, animals need love, need nurturing. You crave that from your mother from when you're a baby. You crave that from your intimate partners. You crave that from your family and friends. So, why is it that, like, as a society, we all now think we're too cool for love? Like, be or real. I'm tired of it. Like, get delusional about love. Like, and I even fell victim of this and I'm kind of going to do both of my topics in one. Because I allowed myself to get jaded based off of past hurt, and it hindered me from being like romanticizing my love life again. As I mentioned in past, I had partners that didn't treat me the greatest, didn't have I don't have the best track history of romantic partners and relationships. Um, but that's not to say that it's funny because every time, like, I still would just like do these weird little, like, I love love. I love showing love. I love making people feel loved. Like, let me love you. And I think that's such an amazing thing. I feel like people aren't willing to do that nearly as much as they should. And like, I used to be that corny girlfriend. I mean, I'm getting back to it now, and I am. But like, when I think of myself in past relationships, I used to be that girlfriend that would, like, leave the notes or like do the little things that's like, oh, I'm thinking of you, or oh, blah, blah, or just like the corny dates. And then I got really jaded. And I got really hurt, and I got very just like I stonewalled myself in so many different ways. Um, Even in friendships, man, like, I used to write, like, I literally used to pen pal my best friends, even though we would still be talking every day. Like, I would write them letters just to be like, hey, bestie, thinking of you. And I would mail it to them because I think that's so cute. Who doesn't love getting a letter? We don't get mail anymore. Like, first of all, I don't know who checks their mailbox on a regular basis anymore, maybe except for my mom or like that generation. But anyone that's like millennial and like younger, I don't know if we really be out there checking our mailboxes on the daily anymore. And especially too, since the mailbox ain't attached to our house anymore and we have to now walk to our mailbox. Unless we're expecting a package, I feel like we don't go and check the mail. And then all we get is bills if we do, or it's like spam or just like random flyers and stuff that we don't care about. And like, how cute would it be if you got a letter from your best friend, or you got a letter from a family member or loved one, and it's just them just telling them how much they love you, that they appreciate you, they're proud of you, telling that, like, filling you in on stuff that, you know what, you probably could hear in a matter of seconds via the phone, but just like having that in front of you, that piece of paper, them taking that time to do that for you, I think that's so cute. And I used to do that stuff. And then your girl got hurt. And again, not even just in intimate relationships, but in friendships. And I got burned in so many different ties and tangles. And then I got cold and I got stonewalled, or I stonewalled myself out from the world, and I kind of was just like, I lost myself. And through this year and a little bit of last year, I kind of was just like, those are the parts that made me me. That's what made Carrie Carrie. Like, I'm silly, I'm goofy, I love to love, I love showing love to the people who I care about. And it's with zero expectation in return. I don't do that expecting Like if when I used to send letters, I wasn't expecting one back. Would it have been nice? Sure. But I did it because it's like I love seeing people smile. I love when the people I care about have a smile on their face. And especially like as arrogant as this is going to be, I love when that smile is because I did that for them. And like that's my cocky flex. I love to be cocky about making the people I love feel loved, seeing them smile. And so I used to get full on Delulu about my friendships and relationships. And then, like I said, I got jaded, but you know what? We're coming back to it. And like with my current partner, God love him. God bless this man. Um, and it's funny because he does every so often listen to my episode or my podcast. So I'm always interested if you figure out like which ones he listens to because I can always tell because when I'm hyping him up, he'll be like, oh, well, like I heard what you said about me. But versus like, if it's just like, I don't know, like a whatever one, like he'll listen, but like I don't hear that feedback. So, anyways, no, God bless this man. I love him to death. God really did a real one for me when he put that man into my life. And I almost felt myself getting a little emotional there, a little teary eyed. Is it me about to sneeze or me about to cry? Um, but uh, he's reawoken that want, need for getting Delulu in my life again. He's reawoken um, that that thirst for wanting to see and make my partner smile because he does that for me. And again, he does that for me without expecting anything in return. So why wouldn't I want to do that for him? Like it seems like a no-brainer. And you know what I mean? So like he works out of town, I work out of town. My schedule is a bit more consistent. I'm 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. He says he's consistent, but if you ask me, it's a little like it is consistent, but it's so like I don't know. It's not easy. It's not simple. Okay. I have to look at my phone app with his schedule on it every time I want to figure it out if he's working or not. Like for future things. For myself, I can just math it out and be like, oh yeah, I'm off or I'm working. Anyways, and so if I'm on days off and he's heading out to work, whether it's for night shift or day shift, like I love leaving him little handwritten notes. Like I'll sneak into the garage and I'll like put it in his car on a steering wheel or like put it where I know he like his lighter is or things like that. Or I like leaving it in like his bag where I know that like he might not find it right away, but he'll find it eventually. I'll leave him notes on his iPad or on his phone again that he might not find today or tomorrow, but like down the road he does. And it's those little things that I like to do because I hope that it makes him smile. I hope it lets him feel loved and appreciated. And it's such like an easy, effortless task. It takes nothing out of my day to do that. And it takes no time, no effort, no money. But like the reward of seeing him happy, the reward of knowing that he's loved or feels loved, priceless. Or like if I'm at the dollar store, so this man loves two things. He loves hazelnut, so like Nutella, Ferrero Rocher, gross in my opinion. Partially because I'm allergic, but also just like Um, and he loves coconut. Not allergic. I just don't like coconut. It's not my thing. So he loves Bounty, and he loves Bueno. Or no, Bueno I think has like the hazelnut nougat in it. Bounty has the coconut. Either way, he likes all that stuff. I think it's disgusting. But anytime I'm at the store and I see it, what you best believe that I am going and I'm picking up a pack of Bounty or Ferrero Rochers or whatever it is because I know that he loves it. And it's nothing, whether it's just like it's no different than me picking up a pack of gum, like like in the chocolate section when you're about to cash out at the register. If I see it and I know that he likes it, why the hell not wouldn't I like get that for him? Again, it makes him smile. Um and I'm totally just like tooting my own horn right now. But believe me when I say I'm saying this because he does so much for me and like he does those things for me on a regular basis. He gets me the just because flowers because I love flowers. I'm not one of those girls that are like, I don't like flowers, like, because they're gonna die or like dead. Whatever. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care that they're dead. I don't care. I love them. They're beautiful. They make me happy. And while they're there and blooming and alive, they make me happy. I'm here for the aesthetic. I love flowers. Get me flowers. And he does. Um, and he remembers my favorite colors. He knows I love my pink roses. He knows I love my white baby breath, baby breath. So he gets me that. and I love him for that. Or like if I'm lashing and I have a long day of clients, he will go and get me Starbucks and he'll get me my drink because he knows that I probably won't eat and I at least can drink something and it's just a little bit of something, or it's just those little things that show your partner that you love them, and it's like romanticizing your life, you know what I mean? We plan date nights every so we each month um is okay, I'm trying to think of how to explain this. Things make sense in my head, and then when I'm trying to explain it to people, I'm like, blah, blah, blah. So every month has a number, right? January is one, February is two, March three, etc., etc. So any month that is an odd number is my month to plan a date, and it's just one date at like minimum. Like it's just obligatory. We can still go on other dates, but it's just this one date is my month to plan the date. I mean, I took it upon myself where I said that I'm funding the date, I'm paying for it. Although this man likes always want to whip out his card and try to pay for things, and it's literally us like shoving and fighting each other to try and pay. But yeah, um, odd months are mine, even months are his. So we've been doing that because A, it just guarantees that we have at least one day in the month, because there are times where like I see this man maybe 3 days out of an entire month because our schedules don't line up. And so it just guarantees that we're still taking that time to be there for each other. And we have to, that person has to plan out the entire date. Okay, the other person doesn't really have a say. I mean, they can. You can ask, like, hey, are you down to do this? Like, I was thinking of doing that for our date. Or like, do you have anything planned for this day? I was thinking of doing our date then. But at the end of the day, it's like, if it's your month, it's your day to plan it. And it's gone really well for us, and it's no pressure. Sometimes we do big elaborate dates, and sometimes we just do super low key chill dates. But it's just like, it's so nice to be able to romanticize your relationship and be delusional because, again, I love feeling loved. I feel like everyone loves feeling loved. So why not get delusional about that? On the friendship side of things, the few friends that I still do have, which I love and hold near and dear, I'm trying to get better at it because, again, I let a few bad apples jade me from opening up. And so, like I said, I completely closed myself off. But I am slowly getting back into it, and I'm slowly being a bit more open and trying to get myself back out there. And I'm whether it's, hey, let's go like let's go on a date, like let's go on a friend date, let's go do something, like, hey, I know you like to do this, let's go here, I know you like to eat here, let's go here. And just taking the time and effort and being delusional about my friendships. And I hope one day I can also get back to, doing the silly things like pen pals or things like that. But like, even me and my one best friend Gus, we're long distance besties now because she lives on the other side of the country in Toronto. And um but one way that I think we stay Delulu, which is like cute, and people always look at me and they're just like, wait, what? And when I tell them, they're like, okay, actually it's kind of cute. So I only use Snapchat to communicate with her and like to take selfies. I don't post on my story anymore. I think I posted on my story once by accident and people were commenting. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are people messaging me? And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I posted that to my story. It wasn't anything bad or scandalous. It was just like, I don't know, like a random selfie I think I took. But yeah, I don't use Snapchat. But I will use it for her. And I want to say, like, pretty early on into our friendship, we started like a Snapchat streak, and we have kept that streak going. I think we're at like 1,400. I don't even know. I haven't checked in a while, honestly, but we're like at 1,000 something days of consistently messaging each other. And like sometimes, if we're busy, we get it. Sometimes it's literally just a black screen. Sometimes it's just whatever we're doing in the day, and you'll just get a snap of like, here's my desk at work, here's me driving, here's whatever. Sometimes you're getting a full blown like 10-minute video of like, bitch, duh, and like ranting about whatever else is going on in our lives. Or like if we're on vacations, like keeping each other updated like that. But like to some people, they think like that's A, so much work, and B, like, who are you? Like, again, like you ladies are like in your 30s and you're sitting here Snapchatting each other. Yes, we are. We're delusional. But you know what? It keeps us in contact. It keeps us in check. It keeps us accountable. We make sure that we're okay. Like if there's a day that I didn't get a snap from her, like because they give you the little timer thing now, and I think it was just like a slightly bit over 24 hours. But if it got to a point where it was like 2 days and our streak ended and I didn't get a snap from her, you best believe A, I'm calling her because I'd be like, what's going on? Are we not friends anymore? Do you hate me? Like, what did I do? What's going on? Or B, like, I'm genuinely concerned because she does not miss our streaks and vice versa. And even when we have been like mad at each other, annoyed with each other, our asses are still sending each other streaks. So it's like, for me, I love that because it's like that's one little way I kept kind of delulu about my relationships. But I think it's important to, have that delusion, like fantasize your relationships. Like, and if you're single and you're seeking and you're searching, single in any way, friend single, relationship single, job single, I don't know. Get delulu about it. You know what I mean? Like your coworkers can turn into your friends. One of my closest friends was a coworker and I love her dearly. And we have such an age gap and we don't see each other all the time. But you know what? That woman is my big. Oh, excuse me. That was like a yawn burp about to be coughed at the same time. Before me, that girl is my big sister. I love her to death. Even though her daughter is older than me, I don't care. I love her, and it's because we stay delusional about our friendship. And we stay delusional about that relationship. A lot of people will look at it and be like, a person of this age and this age couldn't be friends. Yeah, you want to know what? Joke's on you because we are. And I tell that woman everything. She tells me everything. And we, like, when we get together, certified yappers we are because we will blah 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 till the sun goes down, and then we'll wake up and still have more to blab about. Like the conversation doesn't stop with us, and doesn't matter how long it's been since we've seen each other. It's like nothing changed when we get back together, and I love that. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, get delusional about your relationships, okay? Fantasize your life, romanticize your life, put on a little bit of rose colored glasses. There ain't nothing wrong with viewing things in a different way. That's not to say be so delusional that you lose like scope of reality, and you start like ignoring red flags, or you start letting things slide, or you put yourself in dangerous situations. No, I'm not saying that. So don't go saying Carrie from Carrie's Corner told you to be delusional and now your ass is kidnapped in Guantanamera. I don't even know if that's a real place. And I'm just saying, wherever. We're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean because I told you to be Delulu. That's not what I said, okay? I'm just saying, get delusional about your relationships, fantasize it, and pour that imagination and that love into it because you would be surprised how well it's received. And even just being a little vulnerable and like, showing that side of yourself, that creative, imaginative side, you'll be surprised how well it's received. And then people are like, oh, and then it kind of opens the door for them to want to do that too. And then now you're receiving that same love that you want. So sometimes you kind of have to show people how you want to be loved, how you want them to show up for you by modeling it yourself. Not everyone's going to pick up on that. And again, it's a whole other story for a different day. But it is important to be delusional about your life, romanticize it. You know what I mean? Live in your hopes and dreams. Go for it. If you want to be able to travel the world with your friends, why the hell not? Or if you want to find friends to be able to do that, why the hell not? There's people out there. You know what I mean? Like, don't let your own self get in the way of reaching for your goals and your dreams and your aspirations. Like, the Lulu is the Solulu, guys. Like, just, you gotta do it. Okay, I'm trying to get a little bit more comfortable. This dress isn't. Well, we love her. Shout out to Shein. Um, it's not the most like forgiving in terms of like letting me just be how I am, and I love to sit lazy. I always used to get in trouble when I was younger for sitting like a boy, sitting like a man, because my legs would be spread open and I'm like slouching back, and I'm just like, yeah, what's up, guys? I mean, I still do that. I don't care. Um, being ladylike is uncomfortable sometimes. And yeah, so if you see a little toesy pop out, okay, it's fine. She's pedicured, she's French tipped, and she's cute. I don't care. But anyways, let's get into the body break. All right, so, or sorry, the balance break. Oh my gosh, I got body audio on my mind. I'm telling you, it's my favorite segment. Let's get into the balance break. Okay, so um obviously we're on the topic of being delusional in our lives. And when it comes to your mind, I kind of took a different spin on this. So I know usually I kind of try to talk about like mental health, and getting like, that type of aspect of your mind right when I talk about balance break. But again, the mind is a crazy thing. And ultimately, and I think this is kind of like the pinnacle of being delusional. This is where it all starts. And this is the most important thing. You need to get out of your head. Oh my gosh, I can't say it enough. And I am speaking to myself when I say this. Like, get out your damn head, because, like, your mind is your own worst enemy. I would honestly say that, like, 80 to 90% of the things that we think about, especially in a negative way about ourselves, when we tell ourselves we can't do something, when we try to put limitations on ourselves, key word, it's ourself, self, us, your own mind. It's you. You are the problem. I am the problem. Like, get out of your head. Man, it is okay to want to dream. It is okay to think big. It's okay to want things that maybe traditionally aren't uh palatable for society, I guess is maybe the best way to put it. Okay. I come from an immigrant family, so I don't know if anyone else can relate, but growing up, I was told that the only job that really is acceptable because it would amount to anything would be doctor, lawyer, engineer, nurse, um, teacher. Not that they really wanted me to be a teacher, but at least it's a career. Essentially, like the jobs that came with an expensive piece of paper. Um, and while like that's all fine and dandy and there's nothing wrong with that, we need all of those careers. There's also so many careers and jobs that are important that don't require that. And I know a lot of people who they're in jobs that they're like, I don't like this. I don't even want to do this. I'm only doing this because my parents forced me to go to school. I only did this because my whoever forced me or told me I had to, or just in general, they felt like they had to do something. And what they wanted to do, they were like, I don't know how to make a job out of that or a career out of that. Or like, I can't make money with that. So they would push those aside and pack them up and box them away. And then they would just go do these things. They're doing these mundane things that, like, in some ways, sometimes people love it, but in other ways, they're like, they don't. And they're just doing it for the paycheck. And I get it. Okay. Life's expensive. Okay. We need to survive. We need to live, groceries, bills, all that fun stuff. I get it. But at the same time, if you know that maybe what you love to do won't produce or won't bring anything financially for you, that doesn't mean that you have to give up on it. Why can't you now make that your hobby? Why can't you do that on your time off? Like, when people try to say they're too busy to do things, I dare them to come talk to me about being too busy. I dare them to go talk to my best friend Ty in Calgary about being too busy. Like, I implore them to talk to, like, when people try to be like, no, I'm too busy for that. I don't have time for that. Whether it's the gym, whether it's baking, reading a book, like, I don't care. I just look at them and I'm just like, excuses. Like, I don't even, I almost get turned off. Like, I get the ick because it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're too busy? Like, I work 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, a full time job. I have my own lash business that I still run, still take clients on my days off. I went and picked up another job where I do like promotional marketing and modeling, um, third party for different events, which I'm loving, by the way. Like, shout out to those girls, shout out to the company that I work for. Like, amazing, amazing, amazing. Um, but yeah, and on top of that, I'm still running my podcast and I am making sure I still get my episodes recorded and edited and out on the day I say I'm going to do it. Do I sometimes drop the ball on promo and pushing my stuff on social media? Yeah, but I've never been great for putting stuff on social media, which is why I'm so happy ChatGPT is a thing because um yeah, I use it for everything and I use it to create schedules for me so I can just like waste the day of like doing all that mundane stuff so that way I don't got to think about it on the other days. But yeah, and then I still find time to go to the gym. I still find time to make time for my partner and my friends and my family. And while on top of that, still trying to figure out 5 other jobs and tasks and career things that I can do because like that's just who I am. And that's just me. There's so many other people. I know people, they're out there working 18-hour days, then they go to the gym, then they're moms, which being a parent is a full-time task. 24/7, 365. There are no days off. 366 when it's a leap year. Shout out to the leap year babies, aka me. But yeah, so like there are people who are out there doing lifetime jobs plus their full-time job plus other tasks plus hobbies plus staying on top of things. So like when people try to tell me they're too busy, I'm like, yeah, no, we're not going to jive. Okay? Like, yeah, you're busy, but there's still time. You still have time to do things. If you have time to scroll on your phone on TikTok, you have time to be doing other things. Invest that time into your hobbies and your goals. And like, why not invest into yourself? I'll never understand that. And like, people like there are so many people who like I'll have conversations with people, whether it's randoms that I meet at work or coworkers or friends or family members, and we'll just start talking. And then they'll start talking about goals or dreams or ideas they've had or business ideas. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, so why haven't you started this? Why haven't you implemented it? Why haven't you looked into this more? They're like, oh, I don't know. Uh, and then they give me like a whack of reasons, or they don't even give me a reason, not even one solid good reason as to why they're not. And I'm just like, bro, get out of your head. Like, if me and every other Tom, Dick, and Harry can see the potential in you, why can't you see the potential in yourself? The fuck? Like it just doesn't make sense to me. So like yeah, I need all of you. And again, I'm also speaking to myself cuz I'm bad for it as well to get out of your head and like stop letting you get in the way of you. And like this podcast is the perfect example for all of the few viewers that I do have. And that's okay because I love you guys for it. For me, like I said, I'm a certified yapper, so it gives me an opportunity to be able to yap away and get all these things off my head without bombarding people on my social media. And I mean, I used to do that too. I used to do my little rants, and like some people would get annoyed of it, but some people loved it. Where I like rant about whatever's bothering me on my like Instagram stories or my Snapchat stories. We don't do that anymore, okay? We're grown. We just pay lots of money for a therapist and we work and we rant that way. That is now how we get our rant sessions out. But and like shout out to my therapist because we love her. Um, but at the end of the day, like for example, this podcast, and I've posted a clip about it on my social media, and I think I might have talked about it a bit before. Like this isn't something that I just randomly woke up one day and was like, I want to do this. Like I have been meditating on this idea for years. And when I tell you that I can confidently say 2018 from what I can remember was one of the first times I thought about wanting to like create this podcast. 2018. Imagine if I had started this in 2018, imagine where I could be now. It is 2015. It is not 2015. It is 2025. So just imagine. And you know why I didn't do it? Because I let myself get in the way. And I sat there and told myself all these negative reasons why I shouldn't do something. I started telling myself that this Tom, Dick, and Harry is going to say this about me, and this Becky and Ashley is going to think this about me, and yada, yada, yada. You know what? People are going to talk shit about you whether you do something or not, so you might as well do it. Okay, so don't worry about what people may or may not say. And there's also been so many people who've come up to me or have messaged me and been like, hey, I just watched your episode, or I got through half of your episode, and like, oh my gosh, like, good job, blah, blah. People who I even forgot I had them on social media or like I haven't spoken to in years. And it's like, for them to like say those positive things means the world to me. And then it kind of like gives myself a little bit of a reality check because it's like, damn, like I'm sitting here thinking that these people may have been like saying negative things about me when in reality, they're here like boosting me up, they're lifting me up. So, like, why am I in my own head? And oh, okay, if you guys hear the meowing, Nipsey wants his attention, so he may or may not come over here. Full disclaimer. He's on the prowl. He's up from his nap. But Nipsey's our cat, by the way, our little Bengal. Yeah, he's a coming. So let's see what terror he decides to instill. Um, Nipsey, if you're gonna come over here, you just need to be gentle, okay? I know. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But anyways, so yeah. Like I was saying, be delusional, like allow yourself to be delusional, okay? And stop getting in the way of your dreams and your goals and your aspirations. Because if you look at some of the biggest names in the world, doesn't matter what field, doesn't matter what, whether it's, I don't know, the Oprah Winfrey's, or whether it's the David Goggins or the Joe Rogans, or even like the Kylie Jenners, the Taylor Swifts. And I'm not saying like there's people that I just named that I love, and there's people that I named that I'm like, not the biggest fan of. Either way, though, these are all massive names and influential people who, at the end of the day, if they let themselves get in the way, and if they let their mind and all that stuff get in the way of their goals and dreams, they would never be as successful as they are. And I don't remember if it was a podcast I was listening to or if it was like a quote that I read, but someone was saying that like that's why a lot of people who are successful are on the spectrum. And it's because they don't allow their mind, because the way how their brain is wired, the way how their chemistry in their brain works, they don't really allow themselves to get in the way of their thoughts and their dreams and their feelings. So then for that reason, they're out here thriving and surviving. And look where they are now. And it's so true. And so sorry if I kind of zoned out a bit. I was again Nipsey. I'm squirrel brain, guys. But yeah, like all those big names, if they let their own inhibitions and like negative thoughts get in the way, they would never ever accomplish what they have and where they are today. And even further to that, like even just look at, I don't know, like look at literally anything, whether it is your computer, your cell phone, this microphone, lights, friggin' anything, this vase, like someone at some point sat there and thought and had an idea like, I really think if like I put this A plus B, it would equal C, or for better terms, this one plus one, it would equal two. And it's like, yeah. And if they sat there and were like, nah, 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 I'm not going to do that. Like, that's stupid. People are going to laugh at me. It'll never work. We would never have what we have today. We would never have the iPhone, the laptop, the computer, the camera, lights, this vase. I don't know why I keep using this vase as an example, but like everything that we have today, if somebody didn't have an idea, if somebody didn't sit there and live in their delulu, in their delusion, it would never come to it. So oftentimes we are our own worst enemy and we are our own biggest hurdle. And like a lot of times that is why people aren't successful. It's not that they don't have potential. It's not that they're not talented. It's not that they're not smart, or they don't have the ability. Obviously, there are things that can create larger hurdles, but it doesn't make it impossible. And like you look at all of that and it's like, why not? And there's 8 billion people on the world, in this planet, at least. I'm sure there's probably more now. I don't know. Either way, there's about 8 billion, okay? 8 billion, right? If there's 8 billion people on the world, in the world, on the world, in the world, whatever. Realistically, imagine how many of those people have some thought provoking idea, some genius idea, and then because they let their own mind get in the way, it doesn't come to light. We may have been living in the Jetsons by now and having hovering cars, or we could have been able to solve so many crises if people just spoke up and really just like committed to what they thought, what they wanted, and allowed themselves to live in their creativity and their delusion. That's not to say, again, not to live in the real world. If you gotta work, you gotta work, okay? Again, I'm not telling you to go quit your job and go chase your dream, and then if it doesn't work out, come back and blame me. Not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying that there's nothing wrong with, you can kind of have your cake and eat it too. You can still work and do what you got to do and then use that money to fund your dreams and your goals. That's what I did. When I started my lash business, I was working full time and then I would work my job and then I'd come home and I would, if I didn't have clients, I was building fans or I was practicing on mannequin heads or practicing on family and friends. Um, my lash skills that way. Then when I did have clients, I was just a little bit better and a little bit faster, a little bit whatever the goal was that I was trying to accomplish. But I used that money from my main job to fund my secondary job. And now I'm at a point where my secondary job, or like if you want to call it that, whatever, my lash business, like it, I don't have to, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I still use my main job to kind of fund it, but I'm at a point now where like if lashing was solely what I did, my lashing could pay for what I need to pay for in terms of that. Okay, rambling, going on a weird tangent, but point being, um, yeah, there's nothing wrong with using your 9 to 5 or whatever it is to fund your goals. And again, I do that all the time. I did that with my podcasting. How else do you think I paid for the cameras and the lights and the microphone and et cetera, et cetera? Or just even just like your hobbies and things that you like to do. Oh my gosh, now you can hear my voice is starting to go. Hopefully the mic picks this up because it's on voice isolation, and if it's like anything too like crackly, whispery, high pitched, it won't pick it up. But I don't want to turn it off because my vents in my home are going, and then all you'll hear is the vents this entire podcast. Point being, though, okay, again, bring it back full circle. Be delusional about your life. Allow yourself to live in your delusions and allow yourself to dream. Allow yourself to be creative. And, like, who cares? I'm not saying you have to go and expose your thoughts and your dreams to the world, but, like, believe in yourself. We need to start believing in ourselves more. And like we need to start chasing our dreams, whatever that looks like. Again, if it just stays as a hobby or it just stays as something you do for yourself, then let it be something you do for yourself. Like I taught myself the ukulele because I love to sing and I love to play music. And when I left like high school and like public school and I didn't have that like outlet to be able to have something constructed, I did that so that way I could still embrace and enjoy that because I love doing that. And that's something I didn't ever want to give up. Um, or again, like the gym or playing sports, like I went to bought myself boxing gloves because I love to box. I've always been interested in being able to like, like throw like a really good like jab cross. And I went and bought boxing gloves and then I'm lucky to have friends that are professional fighters that can teach me how to actually do things. But even before that, like I went on YouTube and I was like, well, your girl's gonna learn because I want to do that. So like follow your delusion. There's nothing wrong with that. And stop letting yourself get in the way. And further to that, if you do decide to share with other people, don't let them get in the way either, okay? Because there's always going to be naysayers, sires, and there's always going to be naysayers and people who are going to tell you every reason why you shouldn't do anything, but be the reason why you should and prove them wrong and prove yourself wrong. Like you'll be surprised. You are such a powerful vessel. Your mind is a crazy powerful thing. Your body is a crazy powerful thing. And you would be surprised of what you can accomplish when you just believe in yourself just a little bit. And the more that grows, the more it shows. I should start calling myself Dr. Seuss because your girl likes to rhyme here apparently. But yeah, guys, be delusional about yourself. Be delusional. Allow your mind to follow your delusions and allow your mind to just run with your imagination and your dreams, and you'd be surprised on what you can accomplish. And again, I'm a walking product of that. I let my delusions run in our home. And I sat there one day and I was like, I want to do some renovations on the house. Unprovoked, on anything. It's a brand new home. There was no reason, there's no renovations that needed to be done, but I just wanted to do more. And I will insert some clips of like before and afters, cue myself to insert some clips. Anyways, and I ran with it and it looks amazing. And if I sat there and followed the naysayers, cough, cough, my boyfriend who told me not to do it at first, um, not that I would be out anything or not that like we would be in despair if I didn't do it, but it's like it really just made the house feel like a home. And it gave it personality. And when people come over, they're like, oh my gosh, I love this. Like, this looks so good, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, thanks. I did that. And it's like, there's no other house that looks like that. You can go to any other house down the block and their homes don't look like that unless they follow their Delulu and decide to do what they want to do too. So get into it, okay? TikTok's there, YouTube's there. There are people who show you how to do things. There's a video and a how-to on how to do anything and everything, and ChatGPT makes it that much more easier. So get into your Delulu, get out of your mind, and chase your dreams. Alrighty, guys, it is now time to be unapologetically selfish. So, I'm gonna try to keep this one short because I feel like I kind of got into a lot of the unapologetically selfish items in the last segment with Balance Break. But essentially, the thing I have for you is do it for the plot. I don't know how many times I say this a day. I say it at work all the time. I tell my friends, coworkers, clients, you name it. Do it for the plot, okay? Again, live in your delusion and live in your main character energy. At the end of the day, yes, the world doesn't revolve around us, but you are the main character in your world, okay? In your story, you are the main character. So why are you sitting here playing a background character in your own story? Why are you sitting here playing an extra in your movie? Okay? It's your world. Okay? And in your world, you are the main character. So you need to live in it and be delusional. Be delusion. um and yeah, like by the end of the day, like do it for the plot. I literally have it. Ow, right here. I don't know if you can read it, but if you can't, it says do it for the plot. And I say that because it's like at the end of the day, again, we love to live in our mind and we love to sit there and tell ourselves why we shouldn't do something. What if you change your narrative and you just told yourself why you should do something? I watched this video the other day, and I think it was on TikTok, and I saved it. And I was like, I love that. And I really need to start adopting that and start like implementing that in my own life. And essentially, this lady was just saying that if you have a negative thought, flip it 3 times. And if you can, I think it's like the 357 rule or something like that, or 369, I don't know. But either way, some odd numbers or some accumulation of numbers, but I know the first one was 3. So if you have a negative thought, flip it 3 times. If you can flip it 3 times, you're doing good. And in that, it means like find 3 other ways that you could turn it for a positive narrative. Like you could change the narrative for the better. Um, if you can change that, and then if you can flip it, we're just gonna do 357 for the sake of I don't really remember what it was, but point being, if you can flip it 5 times, you're doing even better. Because then it's like now you are training your brain to take negative situations and look at it in 5 other possible positive solutions and ideas. And then if you can flip it 7 times, you're killing it. And you'll realize that negative things don't seem to bother you as much. And as well, you almost become you're almost training your brain to find positive solutions a lot faster, and therefore you stay out of that negative cycle a lot less, and out of that negative energy a lot less. And so like with that being said, I totally just like lost track on why I decided to bring up that video. Oopsies. But either way, um, yeah, like you need to be the main character in your story and like stop stopping yourself. Stop being the background character. Like live to your potential. Like you are that bitch, you are that person, you are that king, that queen, that whatever it is you call yourself, you are that, okay? And live in that. There is nothing wrong with that. And again, it is your story, it is your world. You're the main character. Start acting like it. Um, and in whatever way that needs to be. And yeah, some people might call you delusional for it, but you know what? Screw them because it's not their story, it's yours, okay? At the end of the day, people come and go, things change. Like, all of us, I think, can attest to having friends that we have gained and lost in our lives, relationships, people, jobs, you name it. That is part of life. Things come and go. But what's the one thing that's been consistent in your story? It's you. And so, therefore, you need to start living for you and doing what you want to do. Do, 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 do. And yeah, so Like, live in your delusion, be that main character, do it for the plot. Like, I can use my own personal example. I love to travel, and before I would only travel with people. And for the longest while, like, I always said I wanted to go to Europe. It was always been a dream. My family, like my immediate family, they're all from Jamaica. Yes, I know that we have lineage. Like my great grandfather's from, I say the UK because I don't know exactly where he's from. It's either like Ireland or Scotland. And I have a great grandmother and she's East Indian. Um, but at the end of the day, like my family lineage, oh my gosh, guys, there is a bug. I'm sorry, this is where my squirrel brain kicks in. I think it's just a fruit fly, but if you know me, you know I hate bugs. Okay, it's just a fruit fly. Where the hell did fruit fly come from? You go away. Okay. We haven't, like, this is the second time, okay? Like, we're having some, like, unintentional guests here, and it's kind of rude because they weren't invited. Anyways, but yeah, so I love to travel. And I always said I wanted to go to Europe, but I couldn't find anybody to go to Europe with me. And so finally, I was just like, why am I stopping myself from living my dreams and my goals because other people don't want to or they're not ready to? So, you know what I did? I bought myself a plane ticket and I picked myself up and I took myself to Europe. I went to London, I went to Paris, and I went to Greece, and I did a solo trip by myself. I met amazing people. Because one thing about solo traveling is you best believe there's going to be other solo travelers, and us solo travelers, we look out for each other. And so I met people in every country that I went to. I had people who were like, I was like, hey, can I take a photo of you if you take a photo of me? And they're like, absolutely, thank God. Like, I'm so glad you asked. And then, like, after that, we kind of like, oh, like, where are you from? Are you here? Blah, blah. And you kind of just meet people that way. And it is, again, I've met some of just like the most amazing people. Some of them, I ended up getting them on social media, so I still have them to this day. Others, it was just kind of like a one time thing, but that is okay. You know what? I did it for the plot, and I don't regret a second of it. And then people are like, oh, weren't you scared? Weren't you whatever? Yeah, of course. But you know what? That also comes with then educating yourself, being smart. Like, I wasn't out gallivanting on the streets and down back alleys by myself at all hours of the night looking for trouble. I kept, like, I had street smarts. I made sure that like I kept my belongings on me and in ways that like I wasn't prone to pickpocketing. I didn't make myself look like a tourist. I didn't put a target on my head. And I kept myself in well crowded areas, and access to like a phone that works and like, or access to Wi Fi, and like just made sure that like people back home had my location. Like, there's so many things I did, but at the end of the day, I still was living my best life and I don't regret a second of it. And I am so happy and fortunate that I was able to do that. But that's because I did it for me and I sat there and I lived in my delusion and I did it for the plot. And no regrets. No regrets from it. Okay. So all I got to say about that is do it for the plot. You are the main character in your story. So start acting like it. Like I said, it's your life. You only have one of them. So you might as well make the most of it. And like, what do you have to lose from trying? Worst case scenario, things don't work out. Okay, whatever. Take it on the head, take it on the chin, whatever the saying is, and you move on. Best case scenario, you you get to fulfill your dreams and something that you've always wanted to do comes true. And how beautiful and amazing and magical does that sound? Like, if I could scream, I would, but I can't 'cause I have no voice. But man, just live in your main character energy and do it for the plot. That's all I can say about that. That is all I can say. And that's all I'm going to say because, like, that in itself is self explanatory. And if you can't comprehend that, I can't help you. Okay. Only God can help you at that point, and that's not for me to deal with. So I just gave you the tool. I gave you your little blueprint. Do what you want with it. Do as you wish. That's all I can say. Like, if you want to sit there and be sad and lonely, and not Delulu. That's on you. But Delulu is the Solulu. But yeah, that's all, guys. I just want to say before I start this next segment, like, I love myself. Like, I just want to give myself a big hug and a pat on the back. And you should do that for yourself too. But the reason why I want to do that for me is because A, I'm out here, I'm doing this, okay? Your girl had no voice, still technically sick. We going through some things. And I'm still here staying committed to my dreams and my goals and something that I wanted to do. And I'm not letting anything get in the way. And I've shown myself and I know the power that I yield when I commit to something and I really put my mind to it. I've done it in my fitness goals and my dreams in that way, in the physical. And I'm beginning to do that like mentally and emotionally and in my life. Um, and so I'm just really proud of myself because like as I'm sitting here and I'm like I'm about to start this next segment and I'm like kind of going through my little script thingy that I have. It's not really a script, it's kind of just like an outline of like what I want to talk about so I stay on track. Because again, school brain. Um, I just sat there and I just had a little moment where I was just like, wow. Like before I started, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I really didn't want to record because I was like, I still feel like shit. I have no voice. I sound like shit. I feel like shit. So therefore, I feel like I look like shit. And it's just like, I just had like a little mini pity party for myself before I started recording. And then as I'm like going through my outline, like I said, I'm about to start this. And I was like, okay, what's the next segment? What am I doing next? I'm like, wow, I'm having fun. Okay. Like, I don't know if you guys are having fun. I don't know if you're enjoying it. If you are, I love that for you. You like it. I love it. If you're not, that's fine. There's other people. There's other things. Not your niche, not your thing. It ain't a thing. But I'm having fun. I'm enjoying this. And then like I forget. I'm like, oh my gosh, you freaking enjoy. Like you love doing this. Like what? Like why did you even think for a second that you didn't enjoy this? Like, are you dumb? Am I dumb? But yeah. So I'm just proud of myself for sticking through it and continuing on doing what I love to do, which is yapping away at a camera to blank walls and Nipsey, who's now napping on my boyfriend's gaming chair, not listening to me. Or maybe he is. Maybe he is my number one listener. Thanks, Nipsey. But yeah, okay. Anyways, guys, I've yapped enough. Let's get into power to the people. Okay, so I will be looking at my computer because obviously I gotta read shit. Um, so the first power to the people that I have is, um, again, I got these responses from my social media when I had asked people their opinion on different things, and different topics because I knew it would apply to podcast topics down the road. So I have two. One was a poll, and then one was a like I ask you tell. So the first one was, if someone gives you a compliment, do you feel obligated to give one in response? Um, I had 48% of the people on my social media say yes, compliment for compliment. And then I had 52% of people say no. I say thank you and I keep on keeping on. Um, I have struggled with this and I feel like I've been on both sides of the totem pole. But and why do I feel like I've asked this question already? I don't know. Maybe I have already in one of my podcast episodes. If I have, I'm sorry, but I guess you're just getting my opinion. I don't know why, but like my deja vu is telling me that like I've already asked this question to a guest in the past. But I might have also just had this conversation or like asked this question in conversation and like not on my podcast. Either way, um I have been the person where like if I get a compliment, I feel obligated to give one back. And I still do. I still struggle with it because like I wasn't raised in a way to like be comfortable with accepting compliments, much less really receiving like I didn't really receive compliments. Like that wasn't a compliment wasn't really how I was shown love in that way. Does that make sense? Like I received love, like my mom's amazing, but um compliments weren't necessarily the way it was shown. So I'm still to this day get very uncomfortable with compliments. And especially too since I also really struggled with body image and seeing myself the way how others see me. Um I really just yeah, I to this day I still don't really know how, but I've really struggled to learn how to like accept a compliment and just take it for what it is. Um because I would hope most times if someone's giving you a compliment, they're just giving it to you because they just want to tell you. They're not expecting anything in return. There are some weird people who give a compliment really just because they want one in return. They got bigger fish to fry, but I would like to hope and assume that like your average person, if they're giving you a compliment, they're just giving it to you to give it to you. They're not expecting anything in return. So therefore, if they're giving you a compliment, saying thank you is more than enough. Now you don't need to be like, thanks, or yeah, I know. But I think just simply being like, yeah, like thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Like I'm that girl that like, for example, someone's like, oh, like I love your dress. I'd be like, oh, thanks. Shein got it for $12. Like I love to share. I am not a gatekeeper. So like I love to put people on game. Because I'm not a hater. I love to share my wealth when I can because I feel like the world is big enough that we all should be able to succeed if we can, or we all should be able to, like be put on game in one way or another. Um, so yeah, I feel like usually like I've really tried to train myself that like, hey, if someone gives you a compliment, like thank you so much, like blah blah blah. Now, that's not to say if I see someone like I've come in different situations where listen, if there is a baddie, if there is a beautiful woman, if there is a gorgeous lady and she comes up to me and she's just like, oh my God, you're so gorgeous, you best believe I'm telling her she's gorgeous back because I mean it, okay? Something about me, like I said, I pride myself in being very honest and it is what it is and I don't like to beat around the bush. So if I'm giving you a compliment, I'm giving you a compliment because I mean it, not just because I just feel like telling, like, I also don't like wasting my time. I might be a certified yapper, but I don't like to talk if I don't need to. So I'm not gonna just tell you something just to tell you. That does nothing for me. And if anything, that sounds annoying. That sounds like a drab. Like, no, next caller. So for me, like if like I will give a compliment back if a compliment is due. Um and like I've also been in a situation where like I forgot like what I've taught and trained myself that you don't have to give a compliment and then someone gives me a compliment and then I instantly feel obligated to give one back and like no word of a lie. I like literally I can still see her to this day and I still feel so bad. So homegirl, if you're out there, if you ever see this, I'm sorry because I didn't mean it to come across this way. I just like panicked and you really threw me off guard. But I was out with I think it was with my sister. I was with somebody, and this girl comes up and she was like, "Oh my God, like you're so pretty. I really like XYZ." Don't remember what it was, either way. And I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." And then I froze because again, it kind of threw me off guard because I wasn't expecting, like, I wasn't really, like, I mean, I'm never expecting a compliment, but like, especially just like how she approached me and like what we were doing and where we were, like, a compliment was the last thing I was expecting to come up. And so she said that, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, thank you so much. But then I like panicked and I froze and I did a full look up and down to try find something that I could compliment her back on. And so and again, no poker face, I'm very obvious. So I'm like, oh my God, thank you. I like your hair. Hair? And then I said hair or your shirt. I don't know. But I just like the first thing I could see or the first thing that came out of my mouth. And like it just felt so ungenuine. It felt so unauthentic. And I was like, I gave myself the ick. I was like, bitch, what? Like, well, like, really? You could have just said thank you and kept it going. And so, like, ever since then, even more so now, I do not give a compliment unless a compliment is due. And if someone gives me a compliment, I just take it. And I feel like you all should do that too, okay? Like, at least from me, if I'm giving you a compliment, please know I'm not expecting anything in return. I'm genuinely just telling you because I want to tell you, because I want to make you feel good, and because I feel like you deserve to know that you're doing something good or you look good or whatever. Because why not? Um, and I'm not expecting a single damn thing in return. Like you can say thank you and we can keep it pushing, okay? If you feel entitled to return a compliment, great. But just make sure it's genuine because I promise you, you do not want to be in that situation that I was, where again, I am looking this girl up and down, trying to find something. And it's not to say that there wasn't anything great about her. There was nothing wrong about her. She was a pretty girl. I just was so thrown off guard. And like, there was just nothing that necessarily stood out for me that if she hadn't approached me, I probably wouldn't have said anything to her. That's not to say that she didn't look good for how she was. I just, there was nothing that drew my attention to make me go out of my way to give a compliment. And so therefore it felt ungenuine or like, okay, I want to say disingenuine, but my ex literally would gaslight me to tell me that's not a word. And it's like, I'm like, whatever, jumping around and like contradicting myself. And then I Googled it and it said disingenuine as a word, but now I'm nervous to ever use the word disingenuine. But I'm gonna use it and just know I mean what I mean. Okay? Screw you, X. But anyways, I feel so disingenuine when I uh give a compliment back and like it wasn't organic and I wasn't like genuinely trying to give one first. So that's how I feel about that. Okay, the next prompt. What holds you back from accomplishing your goals? So I will read out what people said, and some of these I relate to, some of them I can't relate. And I'll give my little take. So someone said mental, 100%. Having to work, myself, discipline. Someone said, oh, bleep, time to bring in some psychologists. Someone said they can't stay consistent, self confidence. Someone said diabetes. They can never just do things, they always have to take that into consideration. Fear, finances, and insecurity. Those are all super valid. And I feel like in some way or another, those have also been my hindrances on why the delay in accomplishing my goals. The reason why I say I have not is because I feel like that's almost like an absolute. Not to say that it can't still be accomplished, but I like to set my goals as something that I will accomplish one way or another. And again, whether it ends up as a failure or a success, I want to know that I tried. Um, and so for me, I feel like in different ways, those have been hindrances to my goals that I set for myself. Because finances are a thing and things come up. And sometimes you might have it set up where you can budget till you're blue in the face to tell yourself that, okay, I make X amount, my bills are X amount, I have this much surplus, I put this much towards debt and saving, which means I have this much to play with. I'm going to put this towards my goals and like chasing my dreams. Cool. But then what happens when your car pops a tire and I need to go buy two new tires because tire places won't sell you just one tire? Or what happens when a rock hits your windshield and like you have a massive chip and now you have to go pay X amount of dollars to go replace your windshield, or you get sick and you lose your voice and now you can't go and do your goals and dreams that you try to do because you need to focus on getting better. um, or whatever it is. Point being is I feel like again that's where that mindset thing comes in and that like 357 find different ways to flip it. And it's like, okay, I know that this is hindering me right now, but how can I maybe take that hindrance and use it to my benefit or use it in a way that it no longer is a hindrance? Like having to work. Yeah, it sucks having to work because sometimes you don't get to do the things you want to do, but just think, okay, usually when you work, you're making money because if you're not making money, then you're volunteering. That's not working. I mean, I guess it is, but like not for money. Anyways, um, so you're making money, okay, and just change that mindset to be like, okay, but I'm making money. That way, when I do have the time off, I can now use that money to fund my goals or to put it towards bettering my goals or upgrading things to enhance my dreams and aspirations. Um, in terms of like the discipline and the mindset and the mental, the fear, the insecurity, I can lump those all into one big gumball. Um, that one you just got to do the work on yourself and you just again you got to get out of your head and you got to tell yourself, you know what? Yeah, this sounds scary. Yeah, this sounds tough, but you got this. You got this and it'll happen. It'll happen, it'll work and you really got to get out of your head. You really do. Sorry, a little notification thing popped up on my video edit or like my video recording thing, and I was like, is this telling me that this isn't recording properly? Because awkward if it is. But yeah, sorry. But yeah, like you kind of just you have to get out of your own head and you got to tell yourself like, okay, you have two options. Either one, you build a bridge and get over it, like for lack of better words. And again, I'm speaking to myself when I say this too, because I have faced all of that and still do. But yeah, build a bridge and get over it, and then just decide that like you're not going to allow those fears to dictate your dreams, your goals, your all of that. Um, and then, or you can just sit and be boring and be the extra in your own movie and have, I guess, someone else play the main character, or just have no main character, but that sounds like a really boring video or boring movie. Um, yeah. So you kind of just got to get out of your head and just tell yourself, you know what? Yeah, this is scary. Like, yeah, like this is totally bringing out my insecurities. Yeah, like this feels awkward. Yeah, like I don't really feel like doing this today, but you know what? Once you start, it's a whole other world. And you know what? Maybe once you start, you still end up hating it and you're still just like, man, I still don't want to do this. But at least you started. And at least once you started, then you're like, you know what? You might as well finish. So there's that. But yeah, so I would just say try to get out of your head. Um, and then when it comes to the only other one that I guess I can't really like speak to, like the diabetes. I don't have diabetes, but diabetes does run rampant in my family. And at one point I was pre-diabetic, and I do have insulin issues due to a different diagnosis that I have. So I guess I can kind of sort of relate. Um, and that's tough. And it is frustrating when you have to think about your health and certain diagnoses become the forefront of everything you do. But again, that doesn't mean it's an impossible. It just, yeah, it might be a little bit more of a challenge, but you know what? It just makes you that much more of a badass when you do accomplish your goals and your dreams, because it's like, hey, not only did you accomplish this goal and deal with all the factors that every other person has to deal with, but on top of that, you also were dealing with this said health limitation or health factor or whatever, and you still kicked ass and you still did it. So just use it as your motivator to make yourself that much more of your own superhero. Um, and I know that's easier said than done. I'm 100% aware that's easier said than done. Because I've seen the good, bad, and ugly of what diabetes can bring, type 1 and type 2, and also other health issues. But again, nothing's impossible. And we only have one life, and life is very short. Some, unfortunately, shorter than others, some longer than others. And it is what you make of it, 100%. Like, no one else has control in your life other than you. So, are you going to sit there and be boring and then look back on your life and be like, wow, I really wish I just got out of my head and just did the thing? Or are you gonna do the damn thing and then look back and be like, wow, I'm a badass. I really did that. And I didn't let anyone or anything get in my way. Choice is yours. But yeah, so that's my take on the power to the people. And I think we just have one more. Yeah, we just have one more segment and then we're done this episode. So let's jump to it. All right, guys, it's our final segment. It is our confidence catalyst. I've never done that motion for that before, so that's different. But yeah, anyways, confidence catalyst, guys. So I've said this word so many times already in this episode, so I'm sure you can guess what the word is. But I couldn't think of a better word to sum up this uh episode. And for me, it's my confidence catalyst and it's my life catalyst. So like I feel like you guys should just use it too. But the word is Delulu. Love it. And so I found a couple quotes and things that really just kind of summed it up, and as well kind of summed up what I talked about, what we talked about on this episode. So Delulu is a state of mind where logic is optional, reality is flexible, and you're definitely getting rich next year despite spending your savings on iced coffee and vibes. Um, it also says, see also hopium overdose. Reality? Question mark. Never heard of it. Dreamer's denial. I love that. Hopium overdose. I love that. I think we all need to have a hopium overdose. Um, there's nothing wrong with having hope. There's nothing wrong with, uh, again, being a little delulu and living in your dreams. Like, do I think it's smart to spend all of our savings in iced coffee and vibes? No, so I'm not saying that, but at the same time, you know what? Money comes and goes. Time doesn't, you can't get time back. Life is short. So, at the same breath, I think it's important to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? Be a little Delulu, chase your dreams, have a hopium overdose. Hopium, Hopium. And if that is a weird street drug out there that I don't know about, I'm not telling you to do drugs. I'm just saying, like, overdose in hope. Hope in your own life. I feel like I should, as there's an opioid crisis in the world. And then the other thing, it says, if you want to do a big thing, you can't let small things get to you. And like, truer words have never been said. I'd almost get that tattooed on me. Um, because it's true. If you want to do big things, you can't let the little things get in your way. Like, and I say those little things because, like, fear, insecurities, as much as they're like big things in our heads, if you were to go tell 10 strangers about all your fears and insecurities that you have about yourself or about your dreams, I promise you, at least like 8 out of 10, I would say 10 out of 10, but like, I'll be realistic, at least 8 out of 10 would tell you that you're an idiot and like whatever you're scared of or whatever you're thinking is like not whatever, it's not true. So don't let those little things get in the way of you accomplishing those big goals. And if you want those big things to happen, if you want big things for your life, big things for your future, for your generations to come, well, then you got to stop letting those little things get in the way. Because I don't know what to tell you. If you do, can't help you. But that's it. That's all, guys. Thank you so much for powering through with my raspy, graspy voice. This has been another episode of Carrie's Corner. Stay delusional. Remember, Delulu is the Solulu. And I will catch you guys on my next episode. And I can't wait for you guys to join me back in my corner. Yeah.